We've the Wales game in the near future that everybody's looking forward to, but I want to look back at the Austria game, which is the last qualifier, because you had an outstanding performance in that game, and coming off the bench as well. We've talked about the pressures of FIFA, but in terms of the pressure of actual football, how different is it when you have to come off the bench, and especially when a game is as tight as that was? I think it was 0-0 when you came on. How does that affect you when you're coming into the game?
I think regardless, the whole idea of subs is to make an impact. You have to come on and change the game, whether you're winning, you're drawn to maybe create chances, or defend, or if you're losing, you need to come on and change the game. You need to impact it. Obviously, it was a big loss to lose Glenn, because Glenn is a very experienced player and he's a good player. But I have to look at it as an opportunity for me to push myself forward into the 11. And when you get an opportunity like that, I think I came on after 15-20 minutes. So you're thinking, I'm here for the next 70 minutes. I've got to make an impression. And then obviously it was just after turn of half time we scored, and you're like, we're in the game now. We're ahead, and we've got to fight. And obviously McLean's goal was brilliant. From the pass from Wes and James. Yeah. Not sure he knew much about the finish, but
just put the foot through it.
Yeah, he just said, you know what, I'll lash it, hit the target.
That's it.
But when you're ahead, and obviously we had the success, in qualifying for France, and then France was superb. And do you mean you seen what it did to the whole country, and it was a great thing to be a part of. But we want to achieve that again. We want to go to Russia. That's why the manager is here, because he's a great track record, but he's a successful manager and he wants to get us there.
That's interesting, because I think we've seen it with campaigns in the past. I think after the 2002 World Cup, there was kind of a low after the high, but this one, it's as if we've taken the momentum. And how much of that is that down to Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane keeping his focus? Yeah,
well, you see, the two of them are winners. Like the manager's won 2 European Cups. He's been successful at every club. Obviously Roy is remarked as the greatest Manchester United captain. You look what he achieved at Man United with 7 Premier Leagues. They're winners, and they want to achieve, everything. And I think that's rolled into this campaign. And they've set their stall high, and they won't leave anyone drop below that. And I think that's the way it should be. And I think that's why we've started this campaign well.
And you're a midfielder. You're from Cork. Roy Keane has to have been a big influence on your career. Now, to be working with him so closely, that's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, well, it is. Obviously Roy signed me at Sunderland, gave me a great opportunity to play, for Sunderland, which is look, I could sit here and talk about Roy all day, because I grew up from Cork, and obviously he was the greatest midfielder in the Premier League. Even though he probably disagree with that. Yeah. But he was, and obviously any Cork kid, well, I say Cork kid, any Irish kid, Manchester United fan, they're one of the biggest fan base all over the world. He was.
He's the reason I follow Man United.
Yeah, he was superb, and even now to this day, considering I first met him probably 9 years ago, he's helping me now, and he's trying to improve me, and he wants the best, and that's why he was so successful. He won't settle for not trying your hardest. We can all misplace passes, we can all miss tackles, but you can still go out and you can run around and you can work hard, and they're the standards he sets. And whether he's a manager or an assistant manager, you have to maintain those levels, and he wants us to succeed.
I'm going to go back to Euro 2016 now, because there was one moment in that, Robbie Brady's goal against Italy. Can you give me your perspective on that, your view of it? Because we had Stephen Ward on the podcast, and he was the first one over because Robbie Brady ran left. So Wardy was the first one over for the celebrations. What's your perspective on that, and what's going on? Because I was there in Lille that night, and that's probably the best moment of my life, up in the stands, just the emotion of the entire moment. So what was it like to be right there?
Well, if you remember previously, Wes has missed the chance. Yeah. So we're all left and blind in Wes, because usually Wes would score that 9 times out of 10. Yeah. Then he's picked the ball up, and that's the type of player Wes is. Wes has the creativity. You've seen it numerous times for Ireland when he's playing. Wes sees things other players don't see, and you even look at where Robbie started his run from.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's trying to pick out Robbie, only Wes knows, but he's picked them out. And then when Robbie scored, it's one of those moments where you can't put words on it, because it was an ecstatic feeling. And, it was laid on. We're thinking we're going to beat the Italians and we're going to get into the last 16, and no better buckle than Robbie.